Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So in this video we are going to talk about silicons and specifically the aquarium silicons. So this in my hand is the silicone from the Dow Corning company. Now it used to be called Dow Corning, but they have rebranded their silicone brand from Dow Corning to Dowsil. So if you look at it, this is a 300 ml tube, and as you can see it says acidic cure and 100% silicone. So when building aquariums, there's a couple of things that we need to keep in mind. One of them being that it needs to be 100% silicone, and make sure you buy it from a reputed company, because I have seen many different manufacturers, generic sellers rebranding their silicones as 100% silicone, even though it is not 100% silicone. So by going with a better brand, you're more likely to get a better quality product than if you go with a cheaper and a non-branded product. Now this in my hand is specifically says, let me just remove the nozzle. If you look at the back of the silicone bottle, you can see that do not use, and it says clearly that aquariums, so do not use in aquariums. However, in my experience, I have been to 6-7 different shops and I have used this silicone myself, and in almost all the shops, aquarium shops that I've been to, all of them recommend this type of silicone. They may not usually tell you because they don't want you to build your own tank, because then you will start building your own tank and the shopkeeper will not be able to make money out of their aquarium making business. So those who are willing to tell you what kind of silicone they are using, they always recommend this. And in fact, if you're sneaky enough, you can easily spot this bottle inside aquarium shops. And I'm talking about India. I have no idea what other silicone is available around the world. So this used to be called Dow Corning, but they have rebranded it into Dowsil, and this is a 300 ml bottle. I got this from aquarium shop, and the one difficult part of silicone, finding aquarium silicone, is that it is not available at most stores. Even if you go to your biggest hardware market in your city, you won't be able to find a shop that is selling aquarium specific silicone, or you won't be able to find this specific silicone in your hardware market. So I had to go to aquarium shop, and sure enough they had it. And as you can see at the back, if the camera focuses, you can see that the cost on this is 300 rupees, and it was imported in August 2018. So this is fairly latest batch of their silicone, and the use by date on this is September 2020. So aquarium, so basically it will last you about an year or long if you keep the silicone stay at the place for more than a year and a half. The silicone usually goes hard or goes bad. So this is the one that I got, and I paid about 290 rupees. And after searching for this silicone for in the whole market, in the whole biggest market that where I live in, and after a couple of searching at some of the biggest aquarium shop in my city, I was able to find it at a very small shop, and they had a stock of these. They had more than 50-60 bottles, and I requested them to reduce the price, but they were not willing to take less than 300 rupees. Finally they agreed upon 290 rupees, so I had to pay 290 rupees. Remember that I live in North India, so things get a little expensive because there is not a big airport or not a very big railway station here, which makes importing things a little easier. Now there are many other silicones available in the market. If you go in the market to a glass shop or to a hardware shop and you ask them for aquarium silicone, they will probably give you a generic silicone and tell you that you can use this in your aquarium. So I was searching on Amazon.in and I came across this brand. This is the let me zoom it in. So you can see this is the Joint Leader 688, and this is not something new to me because I've used this silicone before, but just in the picture, because they have stacked 5 pieces together, it looked a different product to me. Now I have used this product before. I can't say whether it is good or not, but it worked for small aquariums. I've built about a 2-foot size tank with this silicone, and I had no problem with the silicone. I built an aquarium about 3 years ago with this specific silicone, and it is still working. Now one thing that I want to mention is the price. So the seller is charging about as you can see, 188 rupees for a single tube, and you'll have to buy at least 5 pieces. That's the combo, and it will cost you about 940 rupees. So you're getting a tube for 188 rupees. And in my local market, I can get the tube for 190 rupees. And because I'm not very good at negotiating, but if I really request them, like tell them I have no money to go back to my house, I came from a very long very far away, so they very reluctantly agreed upon a price of rupees 180. So I think the Amazon seller, I don't know what the seller name is, I think Join Leader, I don't know what the seller name is, but I think he's charging a pretty good price. 940 is a very good price for 5 bottle of this silicone, and the silicone is decent. However, this silicone, let me show you again. This silicone that's in my hand is much better than any other silicone that you will find in the market, and the reason behind that is because I've seen this silicone in many different aquarium shops, and almost all of them are using it, despite the fact that it says clearly that you're not supposed to use in aquariums. And there is a reason behind that. They do not, the company, the Dow, doesn't manufacture aquarium silicone specifically, and the reason for that is they don't want people to build their own aquarium. And if something happens, some people try to make really big tank and they don't know what they're doing, and if an accident happens, the company don't want their name to come in that accident. So this is one of the other brand. So if you really want your aquarium to last long, and you really want your aquarium to be sturdy, and you're going to be moving your aquarium a lot, doing a lot of stuff with your aquarium, experimenting with a lot with your aquarium, then I will suggest you to go with the this brand. This is the Dowsil. You can also find this with the Dow Corning name, but try finding it with the Dowsil brand. Dowsil, because the Dowsil is the if you find this with the Dowsil brand, that means the silicone is fairly new. So this is the silicone, as you can see, Acetic Cure weatherproofing silicone, and this is very important, 100% silicone. You will find other cheaper silicone that says 100% silicone, but they are not, because I have tried them and they usually dry out like very hard and not very rubbery. So this is 300 ml price. And there is another silicone, and if you look at Amazon, you can see that the same silicone is being sold, as you can see, and the price they are charging on Amazon, people are charging about 425 rupees for a bottle of about 300 ml. And there is another seller who is charging 470 rupees, and there is another seller who is charging 320 rupees for the bottle. The price on the bottle is 300 rupees, and if you live in a metro city or a bigger city, you will be able to get this for about 250 to 300 rupees. I had to pay like 290 rupees because there was no aquarium shop, no hardware market that was selling this specific silicone that I want. So this is the one that I recommend always. And so now when talking about silicones, there is a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Number one being that it needs to be 100% silicone. So if you look, I prepared a small note. If you look at this note, you can see that first we need to make sure that we're buying 100% silicone. And now there are other silicones available which are cut silicone or extended silicone, and the cut silicone is basically they cut the percentage of 100% silicone and add some additives so that the silicone becomes cheaper and more people can use it. Now these types of silicone, cut and extended, also have some uses, but for glass purposes, for making aquariums, we want our aquariums to be very strong and very rubbery, very stretchy, so that we can move our tanks without having to break the seal. Other important thing is brand name. As I said, many cheap companies, many small manufacturers are branding their silicone as 100% silicone, but they are not. By buying a brand name silicone, and if it says 100% silicone, there is a very good chance that the company is not lying to you. Now there are two types of silicone available, Acetic Cure one and the Neutral Cure one. Now the Acetic Cure one, which is what I've just shown you, which is this one, as you can see, it says Acetic Cure. It says Acetic Cure. The acidic cure basically means when it is curing, or when you apply it, it starts curing, it starts settling down, it releases a little bit of acetic acid, and that's why it is called acidic cure. On the other hand, we have another one which is the neutral cure, and the neutral cure are a little expensive, but they do not release acetic acid, so the smell is not there. You can't really smell if you have used silicone or not. And neutral cure usually release a little bit of alcohol. In this case, acidic cure silicone, you will smell like pickle or vinegar type of smell is there, which is not very uncomfortable, but there's that. Now, one thing that I don't recommend is buying food grade silicone. Now, the reason I don't want you to buy food grade silicone is because they have some additive in it which prevents bacterial growth and antifungal growth. Now, if you've seen baby bottles, baby bottle nipple are made of food grade silicone, and because baby drink a lot of milk, and we all know that milk is the breeding ground for bacteria and all kind of stuff, and that's why they use aquarium, the food grade silicone for making baby bottle nipples. And that's what we don't want in our aquarium, because we want bacteria to grow in our aquariums. And we can still use this, but it will take a very, very long time for our tank to cycle, and during that it is possible that your tank may crash because you have used these types of silicone. Now, silicone in general is not toxic to human, is not toxic to fish, but you have to give the silicone time to cure. Once it is cured completely, it is not toxic to your fish. So there we go. This was my video on what is the best silicone for making aquariums. My number one choice is going to be this one. This is the Dowsil glass sealant, 100% silicone, acidic cure. You can also buy the neutral cure, there is no problem. But one thing in neutral cure is that I've seen a little bit of shrinkage. So when the silicone is curing, the neutral cure silicone shrinks a little bit, which may or may not break the seal once you apply the silicone. So acidic cure is the way to go because it is cheaper compared to neutral cure. The second option that you can buy is from Wacker. The Wacker is not available on many different stores. I couldn't find it in my local market, but I used it many years ago. It used to be called Wacker 121 silicone. Now there are people who are using other silicone as well, and they're having no problem as well. So if the key is that if you're building a small tank, you can use a cheaper silicone. Make sure that it is like rubbery texture and it doesn't become very hard. And if you're building a bigger tank, and if you want your aquarium to last long, and if you move your tank a lot, which can cause your tank to break the seal, then I would suggest to go with this version, because this is the best silicone that I was able to find in the market. So there we go. This was my video. I hope you found this video helpful, and with that said, I want to conclude this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.